Will you join me in prayer? Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Well, jubilation is a word that's fallen out of favor in our culture. We don't hear it very often, but it speaks to an experience of deep joy, a celebration, an act of rejoicing. And there is a lot of jubilation floating around the community of Battle Creek these days. This past weekend, thousands of people streamed into the downtown to participate in the annual Cereal City Festival. There were lots of special events taking place in town. Friday night there was a parade. Saturday morning was the annual Cereal City Classic 5 and 10K road race. The world's largest breakfast table was set on West Michigan Avenue. There were food booths, live music, dancing, even a movie playing last night at the Millrace Park. There are yard signs posted in every neighborhood of the city right now directing people to graduation parties that have been taking place every weekend for the past few weeks. There was one just a block away from me that had some pretty live music going late into the night. June is prime wedding season, and so churches and reception halls are packed with jubilant family members and invited guests who have come together to celebrate the joy of the love that has joined people's lives together. And our own Jeannie Reed retired from a lifelong career at Kellogg, and some of her friends gathered together last night to celebrate her retirement party. There's a lot of jubilation going on right now here in Battle Creek. It's really easy for us to be jubilant in those moments when we celebrate life's milestones and those special events and those big achievements that come along once in a while, when family and friends surround us and good food and drink are served and sincere words of appreciation are spoken and good memories are brought to mind. We can't help rejoicing. Jubilation comes easily to us at community festivals and graduation open houses and wedding celebrations and retirement parties. But at other times in our lives, the spirit of jubilation takes a concerted effort to sustain. In his book, Naked Spirituality, Brian McLaren talks about jubilation as an important spiritual practice. Life is full of disappointments and setbacks and aches and pains and frustrations and failures. The experience of jubilation that comes so easily to us in those special moments of life quickly gets nullified by the mundane affairs that preoccupy our attention day in and day out. Holding on to joy is a spiritual practice that takes a great deal of attention. Even though the word jubilation has fallen out of favor in our culture, the spiritual practice of jubilation is deeply rooted in our faith tradition. The holiness code in the Old Testament book of Leviticus specifies that every 50th year shall be a year of jubilee. During that year, no one was permitted to plow their fields or plant their crops. During the entire year, fields were left to go fallow, and people feasted on the surplus of the land. And in the year of Jubilee, all property was returned to its original owner. Our faith tradition teaches us that no one possesses property in perpetuity. All of the land belongs to God. All of it. We are all aliens and tenants. Now today, those spiritual practices surrounding the year of Jubilee sound really harsh to us, but to our forebearers in the faith, they were the practices that reminded them that jubilation doesn't come about by accumulating more and more property, more and more wealth, more and more possessions. Real jubilation grows out of our awareness that everything is a gift from God. Everything is grace. Everything is undeserved. Everything is gift. Jubilee is about restoring our deepest capacity to appreciate the goodness of God in the fullness of life. Jubilee is about restoring our deepest capacity to appreciate the goodness of God in the fullness of life. On Wednesday evenings, when we gather here in this space for a half an hour of centering worship before moving into our adult faith formation groups, we always begin our time by inviting people to be still and to become mindful of the sanctuary around them and the sanctuary within them. Sanctuary is the dwelling place of God. And jubilation is the experience that we have whenever we recognize the presence of God dwelling among us. Brian McLaren offers the simple word, "oh," as the word that helps us hold on to our appreciation of the awe and wonder of being in the presence of God. The psalmist used the same word in the psalm that we read this morning to help us hold on to our appreciation of the majesty of God revealed in the awesomeness of creation. O Lord, our sovereign. O Lord, our sovereign. How majestic is your name in all the earth. Oh is the word that restores our appreciation for all of the blessings of God that fill our lives with joy. But it's easy for us to slip from oh to ugh. Most of us go through a good part of our lives holding instead of oh. We wake up with Instead of marveling at the mystery of the morning resurrection that awakens us from the abyss of sleep and restores us to the consciousness of daily life, we wake up groaning over the long list of tasks that await us, the responsibilities that we have to carry, the decisions that we have to make. Is the opposite of oh. Instead of provoking joy and gratitude and appreciation, provokes a depressing sense of deficiency. I don't have what I need. I don't know the answer to this problem. I don't have the energy to get what needs to be done. I don't have the patience to endure the people I have to accommodate today. I am really disappointed with the way things are going. Is the word that we groan when we are feeling depleted and defeated. Sometimes our desire to restore the oh to life leads us to engage in behaviors that are ultimately diminish the fullness of life. Sometimes when the uhs get overwhelming, we convince ourselves that what we really need is to pack up everything and to move back to where we used to live when life was better. Geographic fixes seldom resolve the underlying issues that are draining the joy from our lives. Returning home may feel comforting in the short term, but it can't restore the spirit of jubilation to our lives. Sometimes we turn to substances like alcohol or prescription drugs to get us back to oh. We convince ourselves that what we really need is a drink or a fix or a script to restore the joy to our lives. But that fleeting high of our addictions never gets us close to everlasting joy. Sometimes we just block out any unpleasant realities from intruding into our awareness. We live as if life is different than it really is. This week I visited a person in hospice who didn't want anything to do with anyone whose presence reminded her that she was terminally ill. The thought of facing that reality was so overwhelming to her that she had determined that the only way to hold on to oh was to deny the reality of her imminent death. Sometimes our efforts to hold on to the spirit of jubilation cause us to distort the reality of our lives in ways that ultimately cannot sustain our deepest joys. But today, our passage from Paul's letter to the Romans reminds us that there is oh in everything. Everything. Oh, the depth of the riches and the wisdom and the knowledge of God. For from God and through God and to God are all things. To God be glory forever. We expect to find jubilation in the extraordinary and the spectacular experiences of life. But the spiritual practice of oh invites us to see the glory of God revealed in the mundane and the ordinary experiences of everyday life. We say, oh, when we see the beauty and the strength and the skill and the grace embodied in professional athletes and bodybuilders and beauty contestants and dancers and models, but the spiritual practice of oh helps us marvel at the beauty of our own bodies, of the amazing complexity of our skeletal structure and musculature, of the particular functions of each of our organs, of the vast connecting networks of our circulatory and nervous systems, the embodied experience of consciousness, the miracle of awakening to a new day, of surrendering all power to sleep's restorative embrace, of the sexual magnetism that attracts us to our partners. There is a lot of oh to experience in our own bodies. It is easy to be wowed by the occasional encounters that we have with larger-than-life celebrities, people of fame and fortune that we admire from afar, but our deepest joy comes from learning to appreciate the amazing qualities in the ordinary people we encounter every day. The spiritual gifts that they possess, the wisdom they carry that's been shaped by a lifetime of experience, the insights they have to share, the memories they carry, the blessings they have to offer. There is a lot of oh to be experienced in the people we rub elbows with every day of our lives. So much of the time, we go through life groaning with disdainful ughs instead of the awe-inspired oh. It's easy to get preoccupied with everything that's wrong, everything that's broken, everything that's unfinished, everything that has failed. The groans of come easy to us. But the awe-inspired oh takes practice. Experiencing jubilation among the mundane things of life requires a willingness to pause long enough to notice what is not apparent, to see the redeeming qualities of the people that annoy us, to recognize the compassion of those who seem indifferent, to glimpse the tenderness of those whose hearts seem hardened, to experience the mercy of those who seem judgmental. It takes time to get from to oh. It takes patience. It takes discipline. It takes a willingness to look beyond surface appearances, beyond the things that dazzle and wow us, so that we can learn to appreciate what is beautiful and what is godly in everyone and everything. Oh, the depth of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God. For from God and through God and in God are all things. To God be the glory forever. Amen.